Welcome to Hotspot Super Eagles podcast. The global attention has, of course, shifted to Germany, where you have the European Nations Cup, the Euros. But back here in Nigeria, we still grapple with one problem or the other relating to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And with me here on the Hotspot Super Eagles podcast is a renowned and well-respected sports journalist, a football historian, and of course, an author and a publisher. I'm talking about the man we call the king of sports, Kunle Solaja, joining our podcast today via Zoom.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being with you.
I forgot to also mention that you are the brain behind Sports Village Web. And of course, all this while you have been busy following developments in Nigerian football. Of course, the focal point will be the Super Eagles of Nigeria and all the drama that has been that has characterized our qualification race for the 2026 World Cup coming up in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. How will you say we didn't get it right from the beginning after Osimhen left? Because we seem to have wasted too much time putting our house in order.
Yeah, thank you very much, Informa. What we are seeing is just a tip of the iceberg. Most people see Nigeria not winning any of the 4 matches so far. But the run is more than that. If you go back to the last edition of the World Cup, that's the qualifying series for Qatar 2022, and you bring it up to now, you will see that we have played 7 consecutive World Cup qualifying matches without a win. Nigeria last won a World Cup qualifying match in November 2021 when we beat Liberia 2-0 in Tangiers, Morocco, where the Liberians played their home matches. That was the last World Cup qualifying match. The next match, a home game against Cape Verde. After scoring a first goal within the first minute, we were eventually forced to a 1-1 draw at the Testing Balogun Stadium. That's where the road started. And that's where they now asked Gernot Roy to leave. So that's the first World Cup qualifying match we lost. Then followed by another goalless draw in the World Cup playoff with Ghana and Kumasi, and then 1-1 in Abuja. Those are 3 World Cup qualifying matches we didn't win. And if you add those 3 to the current 4, that means Nigeria have played 7 World Cup qualifying matches without a win. And these matches were executed under 4 different coaches. Gernot Roy was in charge when we failed to beat Ivan in Lagos. Eguavoen was in charge when we failed to beat Ghana in Kumasi and in Abuja. Pesero was in charge when we failed to beat Lesotho in Uyo and Zimbabwe in Rwanda. Now it is Finidi George was in charge when we failed to beat South Africa and Benin. So 7 World Cup qualifying matches under 4 different head coaches, not winning any. Should be more. You should pay more attention to that than just see our not beating Benin. What it means is that there are a lot of things wrong fundamentally about our football that we are not getting right. There are a lot of things to be fixed in Nigerian football that we are not getting right. Take note, this was the same country where under Stephen Keshi we played 17 matches consecutively without any defeat, a no loss streak, until we lost to Uruguay 2-1 in Confederation Cup in Brazil 2013. This is the same team, the same country that played 35 consecutive World Cup qualifying matches from 2004 to 2017 without a loss, which was an African record, and a joint second with Germany, who also had the same thing. But after that, our football was died, and we seem not to pay attention to it. We are looking at the surface, don't know the rot that is beneath. So that is the real problem Nigerian football will have to tackle.
We're almost halfway in the qualification race with 4 games played already. And the Super Eagles does not seem to be looking too good with just 3 points. How do you see our chances at this point?
Well, if we get things right, we might still qualify, even though it's looking very, very unlikely. But with 6 more matches to go, if we win all, what it means is that we have 0 option. If we win all the 6, we are most likely going to qualify either directly or placing second and having to go through the long route of playoff. But if we win our remaining 6 matches, what it means is that all the other 5 teams in the group will at least lose a match to us. So that will be -3 for each one of them. And there's also the possibility of any of them cancelling the other, which will possibly give us an advantage. Right now, we have a back-to-back encounter with Rwanda, our next opponent, which is next year. So, just like we expected in the match day 3 and 4, that we will not drop any points, should we drop points in those back-to-back matches? Because we play Rwanda first away, and then we definitely play them here. So, then that's where I believe we have enough chances of qualifying. But anything outside that, we have only our chances. We also have to look at our home games, which ordinarily would have expected us to win. But things have not been really looking very, very good for us, even in our home games. We play 2 home matches, fail to win any. And we even have to be the one to fight back to draw those matches. And then we also look at our matches against South Africa. It's intriguing that Nigeria Super Eagles have never beaten Bafana Bafana in Rio. Bafana Bafana have never failed to score in Rio. And each time we play Bafana Bafana in Rio, we always fight back to draw. And in one instance, we even fight back. We lost 2-0. Those are things for us to look at. And in a situation whereby only one stadium will become, because what it means is that what happened to Benin Republic may as well happen to us. That should FIFA and CAF decide that the Uyo pitch or something has gone wrong with Uyo, what it means is that our home matches will have to be played away. So that's why I said that there are more fundamental things that we probably we are sweeping aside and we are not looking at, and those things will ultimately affect us either in the qualification series for the World Cup or the African Cup of Nations qualifying series, which draw will be made in another 2 weeks or so. We need to really get things done. This is a country that needed to host the 2027 African Cup of Nations. Yet, there is only one stadium that we could say will pass the test. Now ask yourself, what informed Nigeria's decision to bid for that hosting? And the country we team up with to even bid, Benin Republic, are the ones now not even having a good home ground, and we are just one. So what it means that we really didn't look at this very well. We just see an opportunity, we just blindly feel that we should jump into it, then without making any sense out of it.
After failing to qualify for the last World Cup in Qatar, do you think we have learned our lessons?
Certainly no lesson has been learned, because if we have learned any lesson, we should not be in this situation now. When the draw for the World Cup qualifying series was made in Abidjan in July last year, everybody felt Nigeria had the best draw, that we had the most favorable draw in that instance, because we have teams that we could say 4 minnows and then maybe one strong team, South Africa. We felt that the only team we need to really fight to get things right would be South Africa. But right now we have seen that we have met every team in that group except Rwanda, and none of them are there. And it will be a disaster. Not qualifying for the World Cup is not just what would be more painful is the fact that in a situation where Africa will have 9 confirmed slots at the World Cup and Nigeria will not be there, it's a testimony to the fact that our football has gone down. When Africa had 3 teams, we qualified. When Africa had 4 teams, we qualified. Then Africa will now have 9 teams at the World Cup and Nigeria will not be there. It's a great disservice to the standard and to the credit of football in this country.
Now, the drama that followed the first 2 qualifiers that Finidi George handled, we have all seen within the football circle, all the tension and the rest of them. And good enough, you were first to bring out this letter from Finidi George, this letter of resignation. Do you think it was a decision, that decision was in place?
Well, from ab initio, I've always believed that, at least for now, we still have to go through the era of a foreign technical advisor to get it right this time. We have not gotten it right for some time now because we had technical advisors or coaches, that word, but certainly not managers, who will just come here, just collect our hard-earned salary, foreign currencies, and just saunter in on the eve of matches, and then leave. Immediately those matches are executed, and their salaries will still be running. I asked myself, what exactly are the job description for the technical advisor? Is it just to coach the Super Eagles days before a match, or to have a holistic view of Nigerian football, like we've had before in the era of Father Tico in the 70s, in the era of Clemens Westerhoff in the 90s, 89, 90s. Those are the real technical advisors, coaches, or managers that we had. Those who will be domiciled in Nigeria. Those who will follow Nigerian football. Those who will take out a raw Daniel Amokachi, a raw Finidi George, a raw Amuneke from the domestic league, polish them off and make them 18-karat gold that everybody in the world will admire. Now, what we have are foreign coaches who will just look into the tube, spot 1 or 2 Nigerians playing abroad, and say, "Oh, I'm bringing in another person." Well, I'm not against bringing in our offshore footballers. The fundamental thing, the root of it all, is developing our own footballers here in Nigeria, polishing their skills and making them attractive. Day in, day out, we play our league, but we hardly see any national coach watching them. So if at all there's any talent in those clubs, we will not be able to spot them. The league in Nigeria will be coming to an end very soon. But we can glean some lessons from those leagues. We've seen strikers, we've seen defenders, we've seen teams that have very solid defense. Bringing those players, even if they don't immediately fit into your into your scheme or into the national team, by the time they even train with you, you will have imparted one or two knowledges in there, and you will have also imparted some skills in there that when they get back to their club, they become better players. And in so doing, you have improved the standard in those clubs. You've improved the standard generally of Nigerian football. But that is really not the case. It appears there's an unwritten law that we must do away with our local materials. I'm not a committed advocate for local players that, oh, whatever the situation is, you must fill them. But we should also look into them and see how we can develop them. South Africa, that forced us to a 1-1 draw at AFCON, that we have to go through the lottery of penalty shootout to shoot. South Africa, that we forced to 1-1 draw here at home, they are made largely with home boys. At least 6 to 8 of their players, starting 11, are from one club, Mamelodi Sundowns. So what it means is that our national team, with players sourced all over the world, are just facing maybe one club in South Africa with sprinkling of other players from that league. What does that say? There is still a lot for us to do here. Should we even qualify for the World Cup? I expect that those managing Nigerian football, that is the NFL, and I've mentioned this in one occasion that I met the NFL president. We know that even if we qualify for the World Cup, we don't have the materials, strength, the muscle, and everything to win the World Cup. That we know, not for this immediate competition. So we now ask yourself, what are we going to do at the World Cup? You must set a goal for yourself. Look at Morocco, for instance. They did even beyond their own imagination at Qatar, getting as far as to the semi-final, which is the ultimate to me that they can go. But the big thing there is that one club there, Raja Casablanca, had players, not just in the Moroccan national team, but in also the Tunisian team and some other teams that qualify for the World Cup. At the end of the World Cup, the per diem that FIFA paid to players, to clubs who release players, Nigeria would have even lost out completely if we had even qualified for Qatar World Cup, because there would not have been one home-based player in that team. So, but this time around, seeing what is on ground, from what Raja Casablanca got almost $3.7 million for their players used at the World Cup. Imagine one club in Nigeria having that amount. What it means is that the Nigerian league would have pumped such an amount into the Nigerian league, because that club would not be able to get quality players all over Africa and be able to have a strong team. But if we qualify for the World Cup, for instance, no home-based player here. We are that we could say, okay, coach, have your 11 starters, have another 7 players of it to make 20 or 22. Then the remaining 3 or 4 should be home-based players based on performance, based on the clubs that do well in the league. And that way, you are also indirectly paying back the good qualities of those clubs, because by the time the money comes to them, they have enough money to get quality players. So what the World Cup has done to us is that it has also helped in injecting dollar into the Nigerian league, into the Nigerian football, and in that way, we've been able to get a better spectacle than what we are seeing now.
And finally, before we let you go, we know there have been so many distractions all this while. One of such has been the problem on social media between Victor Osimhen and Finidi George. Finally, what's your take on this matter?
It's a very, very unfortunate incident. And I must say that I am utterly disappointed at the attitude of Osimhen. Because but if another player would have done that, I would probably have overlooked. But for Osimhen, his standing is about the most potent striker Nigeria has, and is the current African footballer of the year. And that really puts some, to give him some respect, to actually make him to feel that you are a model, you are somebody, an ambassador of not just Nigeria, but of CAF, because you are the African footballer of the year. Your way of life, your conduct on and outside the field are very, very important. You must be seen to be of good conduct. And that's why even in Europe, when a major sports personality misbehaves or gets involved in any scandal, the first thing that always happens is loss of endorsement by corporate companies that have that player is affiliated to, or that sports person is affiliated to. Then for you to go on social media to to have an outburst on unverified and unverifiable comments made by your coach is very, very unfortunate. And if I thought the coach made that statement that you are not committed to national, it was an in-house discussion, which you could have also speak out your displeasure in-house, not going outside. In your club, you would not have done that something was said within your house, and you now go to the public to amplify it. You will probably be sanctioned. And I am sure you would not have done that even to an assistant coach in Napoli or any club they have played for. And by now, I would have expected the NFF, for whatever reason, should have come out with a statement, either calling him to face a panel to come and defend his sanction, or outrightly putting a sanction on him. Today, it is the chief coach. Tomorrow, it may be the NFF president himself, or the minister, or even the president of the country. There have been an instance when the president of Brazil spoke against Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, that he was putting on weight as if he was going to feature in weightlifting. Of course, Ronaldo didn't speak up, but the president later, that's the president of Brazil, not the president of the Football Federation, later realized that, oh, that comment was unlawful. Put a personal phone call to the player and offer apology. But Ronaldo, with his status, could have spoken out, but he didn't. And what does that mean? Diplomacy. When you grow up, as you grow up in status, you must also try to impart the art of diplomacy. The art of diplomacy of fighting a war without firing a gun. Now you have spoken so badly about your coach. The incoming coach will always also have his eyes on you, that this particular player may be skillful, may be good, but is lacking in discipline. And when you are lacking in discipline, you are likely going to lack in the
King of Sports, Kunle Solaja, very well-grounded and renowned sports journalist. I thank you so much for being part of our podcast today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's how far we can go on this edition of the All Sports Super Eagles Watch podcast. We'll be back again with another exciting edition. Do have a very wonderful time.